when you are in the midst of a challenging situation.
Hello, 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 and good evening. How are you? Theresa Campbell here, your group administrator, and I just want to make sure I'm looking in the right place. Anyway, thank you so much for the thumbs up, whoever that is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. So Theresa Campbell, group administrator, what do you think about my cape? Totally fun. We like being women and dressing up. All right, so waiting for Facebook to do its job. If you are here, let me know. Hashtag replay, hashtag branding bootcamp. Let me know that you are watching. Let me know that you enjoyed this. I'm going to keep going. I am not going anywhere, okay? I will be back day after day after day to fulfill the assignment of sharing with you the best, latest industry tips on marketing, digital marketing specifically, and branding, and how to really cut through the noise in the marketplace and how to really make sales, get clients, get your idea out there, and really be proud of the work that you're doing. Most importantly, build a legacy and be proud of the work that you are doing. So welcome to Monday. Thank God it's Monday. Happy Monday. Let's not give Mondays a bad rap, okay? If you woke up, yay. If you're breathing, yay. There are a lot of people still going through. There are a lot of people still dealing with, ailments of all kinds. If you're walking, yay. If you're talking, yay. If you're, no matter what it is, be grateful for where you are with what you have. Start there. Start with what you have, okay? And then be grateful for that, and God will bless you with everything that you can dream of and then some, okay? So tonight, just checking notifications up here. So tonight, we are going to talk about, again, this is branding, who you are, what's your why, building your business, and everything that comes with it. A lot of people think branding is just, let me have a website, let me have a logo, let me have a mission statement and a business plan, and boom, that's a brand. It is not. Your brand is what people think about you, what the marketplace is saying about you. Your brand is your reputation. Your brand is your voice. Your brand is your mission and your vision. Like when people think of your business, what do they think of? When people think of you, what do they think of? When people think of your product, what comes to mind? If I say Mercedes, what comes to mind? If I say Tesla, what comes to mind? If I think of a city, if I say Rome, what comes to mind? If I think of Tulsa, what comes to mind? Alaska, what comes to mind? That is the brand. And what I'm sharing with you will help you build a great foundation for all of those things so that you can have a strong presence, whether you have 5 people following you or 50, doesn't matter. Whether you have 10,000 or 100,000, it doesn't really matter. All you need is a dedicated few to help you conquer your goal. And you have to define what that is really. So that's what this bootcamp is all about, branding bootcamp. Last week, we talked about the Kamala Code, and I took you through some basics, 17 strategies for making magic, creating magic in social media. We talked about mindset a little bit, okay? We talked about who you are, your why, how to really derive at a location where you can succinctly say, this is my why, this is who I am, this is my business, and this is why I do what I do. And then we talked about yesterday, just these 7 steps of processing where you're at now, overcoming obstacles, and how to do that. So that was last week, Kamala Harris, celebration of Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, the Kamala Code, excuse me. And so this week, I want to take us into the Queen's Code. The Queen's Code. And this I love because, man, the queens in history really were fierce. They were just fierce. There's no other way to say it. They were fierce. They had money. They were warriors. They were doctors. They were funding countries. Okay, they were building cities and conquering lands. Check out my all for you. They were just doing that. I will share this before I get into the 4 Ps. I have 2 sets of 4 Ps. Okay, I couldn't decide on which one to share, so I have 2 sets. Anyway, I love history. I didn't really care for history growing up. I thought it was boring. I thought those jokers have already lived. Why are we going through their stories again? Can we deal with my story, my life, and what's happening right now? And so when I was in school, I didn't really care for history. And now I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if it's as a result of self-development, that could be very well be it, or just the natural progression of wanting to know more about why we're here. That could be it. I just really love everything about history, all of it. Okay, some people like European history, some people like African. I like all of it. So one of my favorite people in history is Joan of Arc. And I don't know if it was after the movie that I really delved into her history, but somewhere along the line, I just started really digesting everything about Joan of Arc. And she was 14 years old. Can you imagine? Joan of Arc was 14. She was a teenager. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she was 14. She was a teenager nonetheless. And she decided to put on a man's armor, okay, and fight against the English to save her country. And I think about what it was, what she must have had inside to say, I'm the one. Okay, teenager and all. I can't wear the armor. I can't hold the sword. I'm half the size of a man, but I am the one. And not only just for herself, not only just for her family, not only just for her village, but for her country, a whole entire country. She decided that she was going to fight another country. And it really challenged me because there are times when someone tells me no, and, I'm like, okay, right, before I knew better. Or there are times when I was dealt with, difficult situations, people calling me names or whatever the case may be. And I would just kind of go, okay, and kind of sulk away. But can you imagine? And anyway, so then I started really researching these characters and definitely Joan of Arc and understanding that there's something inside of us that makes us want to fight back. And again, I think society really makes women want, you're stereotyped if you're aggressive. You're stereotyped if you're ambitious. You're stereotyped if you're assertive. But it's in our DNA. The queens of history, all of the powerful women in history that we look up to, show us that we have ambition, we should use it. We have assertiveness inside of us, we should use it. We have aggression inside of us, and we should use it. And so Joan of Arc was one of my favorites. And the story that I love the most is when she realized that nobody else in her village was going to fight. And she went to this little church, and the church is a historical monument to this day. She went into this church where she prayed and she talked to God and she asked God, what should I do? What should I do? She's a teenager and she's asking God, what should I do? Now, what was important to me in that story was that she, again, as a teenager, as a little girl, knew enough to ask God first. So my point in this introduction is, again, you have not because you ask not. All we need to do is ask. And then we'll always hear the answer. We'll always hear what we're supposed to receive. So she went, she asked God, and she received her answer. She goes and tells the guy who's over the little uh, group of men who have gathered together to fight, give me a suit. And the guy's laughing like, you can't fit the suit. And she's like, I'm wearing it, or I won't wear it, but I'm going to fight. She's like, you give me the suit or not, I'm fighting either way. And I just love her chutzpah. I love the, no matter what, I am the one. And how many times in our lives do we let other people talk us out of our destiny, talk us out of an idea? That happened to me a lot up until probably 5 years ago. I don't let it happen now, but man, you could talk me out of picking up a gold piece of nugget off of the ground if I saw it. I'm like, hey, that's a gold piece of nugget. Somebody would say, no, it's not. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm better now. Don't worry. But, how many times, think about this yourself. How many times have you allowed somebody to talk you out of an idea that you know is right for you? And so that's what this boot camp is about. It's not so much, it is about giving you tips and strategies and all those things that you need to do to really, make your digital marketing, send it through the roof. But it is also about making sure that come December 31, 2021, you're a changed woman. You're a changed businesswoman. You're a changed entrepreneur. You're not doing things the same way. You are thinking about your business in a different way, in a better way, and you're moving forward. This is not about being stagnant, staying where you are, gleaning, a nugget here and then, oh, she said this, so let me apply it. This is about transformation. This is about who are you? Who do you want to be? How do we help you get there? So ask yourself, how many times have you allowed somebody to talk you out of what you know you're supposed to do? And do you have a by any means necessary, no matter what attitude? That's the theme throughout. Make a note to myself. So by any means necessary and no matter what. So again, I have 2 sets of 4 P's here that I want to share. The first, just get it out of the way, the 4 P's of marketing. You've heard this before, but since this is a branding boot camp, I want to go ahead and get this out of the way. And then I'm going to talk about my queen for tonight. So product, price, place, and promotion. If you have a brand, if you have a business, digital, online, brick and mortar, doesn't matter. MLM, doesn't matter. These are the cornerstones of marketing. Your product, what is it? Is it service-based? Is it brick and mortar? Is it a product? What are you selling? You need to identify that. You need to make sure you're crystal clear as to who's going to buy it. For instance, if you have, let's see, let me do something really crazy. If you have a fried chicken restaurant, I'm probably not your customer. If you have, if you're selling Crocs, I'm probably not your customer, right? So you would make sure that your marketing is not geared towards me, but it's geared towards the person who would wear a pair of Crocs or buy fried chicken. And then also your price. So let's stay with that. Let's stay with the fried chicken scenario. So let's just say you have fried chicken and you want to sell a special type of fried chicken. Okay, you've got 30 different spices. Your great grandmother gave you the recipe. Nobody else has it, and it's going to shoot through the roof. And in addition to your special fried chicken, you've got some gourmet accompaniments, right? Sides. Not your standard size, you have gourmet sides. So maybe your price is a little bit more expensive than Kentucky Fried Chicken. And you can, maybe you're selling it only online. Maybe you have an app. That's where your price comes in, okay? And then place, are you online or do you have a brick and mortar? That makes a difference when you're deciding how you speak and your message and your voice. It really makes a difference as to your place. Also in place is fulfillment. How are you fulfilling the product? Do you need staff? Are you offshoring? Are you using Fiverr? Are you using Upworks? Are you using an intern? Do you have a program with the local community college or college? Fulfillment comes into that. It's really important. Oh man, I can tell you stories about the mistakes I've made in fulfillment. Okay. You can get all of the contracts that you want, but you need to make sure that you can fulfill them, and you need to make sure that you have the right amount of staff. So real quickly, one of the first businesses that I had was office supplies. Did really well. I won this contract. It was 6 figures, and I was doing a lot of business. I literally had to drive from LA to the warehouse to pick up supplies, bring them back, box them up. I had an online USPS account, had the printer for the stamps, just everything. You got to make sure you have your envelopes. You've got to make sure you have your labels. You've got to make sure you have your postage. You've got to organize and plan and schedule for a delivery to come to you to pick up stuff on a regular basis, or you've got to hire somebody to take the boxes to the post office or UPS or FedEx. I mean, there is a lot involved, especially when you have a physical product. So every time I see someone who wants to open, who wants to sell clothes, I'm like, okay, just build your shipping and the stuff that you need for shipping into the product price. Don't make me pay $20 for shipping, please, and thank you. Don't make me pay $10 for shipping. Just add it into the price of your product. I don't know who that is for, but hear me loud and clear. So I won this contract, got the product. Anyway, so before that, driving an hour to the warehouse, back and forth on the freeway, and having to fill it, having to ship it all out. It is something. So you need to understand fully the cost, physically, mentally, spiritually, into your family if you are going to ship physical product. You need to understand that part of it. It will make or break a business. All right, so I won this contract, and then I found a vendor to fulfill the product for me. That vendor increased his price once he saw who I was shipping it to. Big mistake. I was having the product shipped directly from my vendor to the company that I won the contract through, and shot the price up. My profit dwindled to nothing. Anyway, long story short, just make sure your price is priced right. Okay, make sure you have factored shipping into your price. Make sure your fulfillment and where you are managing your business, the place, okay, is makes sense for your business. All right, and then for promotion, this is easy, I think, especially now with online and social media. Create a Facebook business account, create an Instagram business account. Don't try to use your personal, okay? It just causes more problems than anything. So create a business account. Of course, you're going to have all of your other business numbers set up and all of that, but just make sure that you have Facebook business, you have Instagram business, you have a Twitter business, you tie them all together. You can use things like Buffer, Hootsuite, of course, to manage your social media. You can use for email marketing, MailChimp, Active Campaign. I've talked about this before, but you've got to promote. And how are you promoting? Create a social media calendar, all of those things. Okay, so the 4 P's of marketing, that's the cornerstone of what we're talking about here: product, price, place, and promotion. Now, the 4 P's, my queen for tonight is Cleopatra. She gets a bad rap in history, but she's my favorite. She's one of my favorite. Oh man, Cleopatra. Now, why am I tying the 4 P's into this next 4 P's talking about Cleopatra? Because if you think about it, her product, her beauty, her feminineness, if you don't mind me saying it that way, her price, she was rich. Okay, she knew exactly who she wanted. She went after the Roman royalty, the Roman kings, the pharaohs. I'm sorry, not the favorites, but she went after them in Rome. Okay. And then she was African. She knew her place. She was very regal, very, you know, she had a presence, right? She had a presence and promotion, legacy, rolling herself up in a carpet and presenting, you know, unveiling herself after being unrolled in the carpet. Priceless. All right. That's promotion at its best. So how are you going to get to a point where you, as a female business owner, can really have a brand that you're proud of? You need to understand if you react to pain or pleasure. You need to understand whether or not you're driven by pain or pleasure. Then you need to prepare for your purpose, my 4 Ps. You need to understand if you are driven by pain, pleasure. I will explain how to determine that, and then prepare for your purpose. All right. So how do you know if you're driven by pain? Well, if I say to you, I'm your coach, and I say, hey, I want you to create a course, and we're going to launch your course in 6 weeks. And you think to yourself, oh, man, but what about my website? But what about the vacation? But what about, you know, as soon as a recommendation is made to you, you think about all of the negatives that prevent you from achieving the goal. That means you're driven by pain or pain. You think about the pain and the obstacles first. And so if I'm going to, how do you counteract that is, say I, again, mentioned to you, hey, I want you to create a course and launch it in 6 weeks. Maybe I twist it and say to you, you know, you're not generating a lot of revenue right now. People who create courses tend to add about 20% to their revenue and can generate additional clients by creating a course. In creating a course, one of the easiest ways to do that is just to create an easy step plan. Take you probably 2 weeks or so to organize it all. But in not creating a course, you lose a valuable resource for creating additional revenue. And it's one of the ways, you know, you speak to the pain or you speak to the objection first. And then the person who's receiving that goes, oh, okay, well, maybe it's not so bad. Now, what if you're driven by pleasure and you're a big picture and you're like, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. You know, somebody gives you a big idea and you're like, boom, let's go for it. So same scenario. I say, hey, you need to create a course, you need additional revenue and clients. Now to you, I'll say, if you create this course, you're going to receive 100 new clients. You're going to make $20,000 in 6 weeks. You could increase your reach by 10,000 people. A lot of people will know you, and this will even give you an opportunity to create a media kit so you can get additional speaking engagements and potentially write a book. I think this would be great for you right now. It'll give you exactly the exposure you need. Do you hear the difference between pain and pleasure, and how you address and how you approach and speak to someone who's driven by either one? Okay, so you need to know whether you're driven by pain or whether you're driven by pleasure. So then once you have all of that, you have to prepare, okay? You have to have a plan. I'm sorry, there's no way around it. I don't care if it's 5 bullet points on a napkin. Please prepare a plan, all right? All you need is, and keep it simple, create a SMART objective. It's got to be strategic. It's got to be measurable. It's got to be achievable. It's got to be realistic, okay? And it's got to be timed. So you're going to create a course. I'm going to launch my course October 30. My topic will be Branding Bootcamp. I will sell the course for $25 per person. It will run for 4 weeks. Okay. Yeah, that's it. All right. So just be and it's that simple. Okay. Boom. Write it down. As soon as you have that, Write it down. Again, create a SMART plan. Strategic, measurable, achievable, realistic in time. Make it real for you. Don't say you're going to create a course for $1,000 and you've never sold anything over 500. Keep it realistic. Also for your audience, if you go from 25 to 1,000, your audience will think, what the heck is going on with you? So then the last is really, but the last is your purpose. Like, tie it all back to your why. We went through that, right? At the beginning, what happens through you? You can check out, I believe it is day 4, right? What happens through you? And just make sure that it's in line with who you are. You can be super creative. You can kick the box to the curb. You can create the rules along the way. 2020 has taught us that, right? We're now wearing a mask everywhere we go. Who would have thought? But now that's what we do. So saying all that to say, you can rewrite your program. You can rewrite your software. You can write new code today. All right. So how do you feel about that? Let me know. How does that feel? All right, so I will be back tomorrow night. I'm going to keep this going with the Queen's Code. Again, tonight we talked about Cleopatra. What I love about Cleopatra is that she funded the war in Rome, okay? When they were trying to write her son out of the history books and kind of say, no, we don't care who his father is, she went to him, Caesar, and said, no, this is not going to happen. You give my son land and you tell everybody that this country will be his. And I think it's one of the Middle Eastern countries. I forget which one it is, but she forced him to give her son a country. Okay, so talk about negotiator, talk about businesswoman. She was just everything feminine, everything strong. She wrote a medical history book. All right, I didn't know this again until doing research and studying. Here's why I read history now. Because it's one thing to watch it and hear somebody else tell the story, but when you read it for yourself, it sinks in, and you can never get rid of that brain. Once you have created that neural connection in your brain and you learn something new, it is there forever. So that's why I read. I read a lot. That's why I read. So she funded the war for Caesar, Antonio, I believe that's his, oh Lord, forgive me. And she made sure that her son had land and her son had country, that they did not write him out of history. And over and over and over again, she was giving Italy money. Okay, so just know, again, women are ferocious, aggressive, ambitious, assertive, and those are not bad things. And here is why I'm repeating these terms, because we need to redefine them for ourselves. We need to redefine what ambitious means. We need to redefine for us what being assertive means. We need to redefine for us what being aggressive means. It's not all bad. Remember last night I talked about the lioness, all right? She hunts at night. She hunts at night, and she kills for her family, and she feeds her family. It is within us. It is our DNA. So I am calling for all business women, all women entrepreneurs, all corporates who want to have their own business, and all corporates who are moonlighting right now. I'm calling you out. Okay, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out. All game changers, all power brokers, all city planners, okay? You want to build your own town? Do it. Okay, you want to build your own housing development? Build it. You want to create your own monopoly? Tesla doesn't have to be the only one. Elon Musk doesn't have to be the only one. You want to create your own electric car? Do it. You want to have your own chain of hotels? Marriott doesn't have to be the only one. I'm tired of Marriotts. Can we have a Campbell? Can we have a Johnson? Well, there's Howard Johnson's, but can we have somebody else building chains? You know, don't we need another Facebook? You build it. You build an app, sis. You build it. Don't we need other, all we have are iPhones and Androids. Can't you build a phone? Raise your level of thinking. Think at a higher level. Doesn't always have to be beauty and makeup and clothes. Think higher. Where will we be 20 years from now? And how can you be a power broker playing on that field? Okay, how can you play in that game? I'm not trying to play this game forever. I'm not trying to play this, let me show up on Facebook for 30 days game forever. Trust me. That is not my goal. My goal is to play at the highest level, owning businesses, chains, land, developments, books, okay, not a book, books, and it's not from an egotistical place. I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave something back for my children. I want those who are 5 right now, or not even born right now, to Google me. Who knows what they'll be doing at that? Siri might pop up. They might have a Siri hologram at that time. Siri, hey, look up Theresa Campbell. And I want there to be a long, awesome record. Donations, buildings in my name, housing development. What do you want? What do you want to be known for? What do you want left behind after you're gone? That's what this is about. It isn't about Facebook. It isn't about showing up, for the branding boot camp. I love y'all, but I do. This is why I'm here giving it for free. I love you immensely, but we have a bigger job to do. We have bigger work to do. We have bigger calling to do. So think higher, vibrate higher, think about your highest level, and let's go there. Okay? Drink your water, exercise, read, pray, meditate, ask, and it will be given to you. I will be back tomorrow night. We're going to talk about another queen. Nefertiti, of course, is my girl. So I think I might save her for last and maybe do Queen of Sheba tomorrow. We'll see. Anyway, that's tonight. The Queen Code, Cleopatra. Remember your 4 Ps. Consider whether you are driven by pain or pleasure. And just tailor all of your conversations to that. And then prepare, create a plan, smart, strategic, measurable, achievable, realistic in time. And then always keep your purpose in mind. What is your why? What happens through you? What are you standing for? What is your legacy? Nothing else really matters. Again, I'll say this. A lot of millionaires, a lot of celebrities, a lot of all these jokers who are not happy, who are committing suicide, who are dying. The money does not make you. Money doesn't make the woman. The woman makes the money. And you define who you are. Do not let the world define you. Look, again, we went through this pandemic. We went through being shut down and all of these things. And if you didn't transform and restore yourself during, now is the time. Because we are approaching a time in history we've never had this before, where it's been completely deconstructed at a global level, completely deconstructed at a global level, and you're still here, okay? And that means something. So now it's time to reconstruct based off of who you want to be. Don't go into this blind. Think with your eyes wide open. Act with your eyes wide open, with your heart wide open, with your soul wide open. And you define who you need to be for you. Okay, that's it. No more. That's it. No more. So again, the 4 Ps of marketing. Let's not forget that. Product, price, place, and promotion. Product, price, place, and promotion. If you need assistance with any of that, need some tips and strategies, shoot me a DM, comment here below. Let me know that you're watching, and I'll be back tomorrow night. Have a good evening. Ciao. Bye-bye.